Computer. Okay, so for those of you that don't know me, I'm Donna Hoffman. I'm the founder of Women on Course. And today we're going to talk about the art of business golf networking. So as you all know, in business, there are many places you can go to connect with people. You can do cocktail parties, chamber meetings, you can invite people to lunch. There's so many places to network. But a lot of people do not realize that the golf course is probably one of the most powerful places to network. And it's a great place to really develop relationships. And most people, women, new golfers, are sometimes timid to use the golf environment as a place to network because they don't think they're a good enough golfer and they're going to put themselves in a pretty bad position. So they avoid it. So in this session, we're going to cover three things. We're going to cover why golf is a great place to network. We're going to talk about how to leverage the game when you are not on a golf course, when you're not swinging a golf club. We're going to talk about how to leverage the game when you are on the golf course. And last, we're going to talk about when to bring up business. Okay, you're also going to meet one of our national apparel and accessory partners. You're going to meet Sheila of Birdie Baloo. And you're going to meet our very own Women on Course VP of Sales and Marketing, who is an expert networker, Jody Whitty. So you're going to meet them today. So I'd like to start, I always like to start with a little chat question, get you guys all woken up. So if you get your chat ready, I'm going to have you basically raise your hand, but put it in the chat. Are you a good golfer? Yes or no? Just in chat. Are you a good golfer? If someone said, are you a good golfer? Oh, I love seeing the yeses. Okay, not yet, not really yet. Okay. Well, considering that only 10% of all the golfers out there, and there are only 25 million golfers, out of all those people, men and women and children, only 10% can actually break 100. So that means 90% of all the people out there are not great golfers in terms of score. So if you don't think you are a good golfer in terms of score, you're in the big majority. So keep that in mind first. Second of all, I'm going to talk about some statistics here. Why would you actually pick one of the most difficult sports to put yourself in the best possible light? So if you're going to choose golf as a place to network, why would you pick this difficult sport? So I'm going to tell you why. They've done some studies. One of the studies said that 46% of women believe that being excluded from a male-dominated informal network, like the game of golf, hinders their career advancement. So if you're not in the bar drinking beer, or you're not at the sports, the bowling alley, you're not in the golf course, they believe that in their experience, it has hindered their advancement in business. And I personally worked in public accounting, and I know that to be true. All the men were promoted, they got on the best assignments, and I was stuck out in Haverhill, Massachusetts, auditing an oil and gas plant for months on end. And the other guys all had the cushy assignments. So that's because I wasn't out there networking. Executives who play golf make 17% more than executives who do not. Okay, that's just a statistic that we got from one of these studies. And then a whopping 90% of Fortune 500 CEOs play golf. They say they play golf. And 80% of executives say that playing golf has helped them establish new business relationships. So there's quite a few people out there that believe that golf is very helpful. So when you get out of the office environment and you get into your comfortable clothes, it puts you on a different level. Okay, when you're dressed up for work, that's one thing, but you're on a different level. And no longer are you looking at partners and associates, but you're looking at people who play the game and people who don't play the game. And if you've ever been to a charity event or you've been to a business event where the golfers are all playing all day, and then the people come for dinner at the end and they're all dressed differently, they're in their fancy clothes, you kind of know by how they're dressed who participated and who didn't participate. So you want to be one of the participators. All right. I also find it interesting that when you're in a relaxed environment, people talk a lot more about their goals, their objectives. You find out what they're like. People tend, when they're in a business environment, to be they hold back a little bit. They feel bosses are watching, it's going to be held against them. They tend to open up more. So golf is a real informal place where you're going to shine better because you can explore and say more about yourself, but you're going to learn a lot about other people. So what we're going to start with is I want to give you one example of how being on the golf course and in the golf environment led to a promotion. So I'm going to introduce at this point Sheila with Birdie Baloo, and she's going to give us a personal story. Sheila.
Oh, thank you. How's everybody doing this afternoon? Hope you're doing great. What golf did for me is I actually grew up playing golf, but yet when I was a senior director at a company, a male dominant manufacturing company, I was the first female VP in my department ever at the company. So, and this company was close to 100 years old. So what happened to me was there was an opportunity to go on a golf trip. And I went with my current boss and his boss, and then a fellow peer. I thought it was great that I got to go play golf, and I didn't, it was something going to be fun to do and everything. What was going on behind the scenes was there was a reorganization going on in the company, and there was an opportunity I had no clue about. And what was going on was basically they wanted some time with me out of the office to find out how I would react and how I would behave. And golf kind of opens that door a little bit. When you're on the golf course, if you're comfortable and you get to know the people you're around. And it was great for me because my senior VP did not really know me that well. And he didn't know how I might react in a public event or things, et cetera. So it gives you that opportunity to experience those conversations that you may not have in the office. So what happened to me was there was another person on the trip who was my peer. And at the time they were trying to figure out which one of us was going to get that promotion. And a week later, I was given that opportunity and I was promoted to a VP and of a global company. And I ended up having a little over 160 people reporting to me and foreign Asian offices underneath me. So it was a great opportunity. But I know by being able to go on that golf trip that I wouldn't have gotten that job unless I had those 3 or 4 hours with that person so that he could get to know me differently than just being in an office meeting. So that's what golf has done for me. And I highly recommend anybody that I was mentoring along my path, play golf. There's something about it that just really brings out things that I can't explain it other than you get to be on the same level with the other people that you're playing with, because it can be very even, and the conversations can be very good on the golf course.
Awesome. Well, that's an example of showing up and being there. You're
Right.
going to be part of it if you don't show up. So I always think of this as a large fence, big hedge, and you got all these women on one side and the golf course is on the other side.
Yes.
And they're just afraid to go over there. They're like, I just can't be there. So we do a lot at Women of Course to help women feel confident to show up, because if you're in the right place at the right time, things will happen. So This is great. So let's talk about how you can start being involved in networking golf when you're not on a golf course. Okay, so I'm going to share a PowerPoint for you that I put together. So let me see if I can get this thing up here. Works. Everybody see that? Okay. So first thing I want to say is relationships are built on commonality. So when I was a young woman at an accounting firm, I'm 22 years old. I'm a woman. I'm not from Boston. And all the partners are, in their 50s, in their 60s, men that play golf. They have really nothing in common with me except, oh, you have a daughter your age and you're kind of cute, whatever. They really didn't take me seriously. So what can you find in common? All right, if you're in an office environment or you're running through an airport or whatever, identify yourself as a golfer. Now, what I mean by this is have something on your person where people go, wow, she must be a golfer. She's carrying this golf tote. I'll give you an example. I went from accounting into video production, and we sold our company to Khaki. It's a huge defense contractor. We were a little division, and I started producing a golf television show. And on Friday, I was leaving the building with a golf bag over my shoulder going to the shoot. And one guy saw me and said, "Hey, do you play golf?" Because I had this golf bag. This is a guy I passed all the time. I said, "Well, yeah, actually, I do play golf. I'm doing the show." And we started a conversation. Turns out he was the VP of contracting for the company, and that they were bidding on a huge job that involved a video production component. He had no idea, out of this company of 2,000 people, that they even owned a little video unit. So our division was written into the proposal, and they ended up winning, and we got all this business. So as a result, this is back in the old days, on Casual Friday, I would put on a shirt with a golf logo. I go up and down the elevators, I walk up and down the halls. "Hey, everybody, look at me." But people knew I was the golfer in the building. And the beauty of this whole thing is they never saw me swing a golf club. So they had no idea if I was good or bad. So you can start networking through your office. Just let people know you play golf. How about charity outings? There's so many business outings out there. One way, if your goal is to prospect and meet a lot of people, one way to do that is to volunteer to work on the outing and work on a committee, so that you're meeting before the event, you're meeting 3, 4, 5, 6 times, you're getting to build that relationship with those people. And then on the day of the event, you become a facilitator, and you might get to check everybody in. You might get to drive around the golf course and meet everybody. So if you're looking to meet a lot of people in one shot, volunteering at an outing is a great thing to do. Second, if you are looking to deepen relationships with a few people, you may want to volunteer, you may want to play, because when you play golf, you're only going to meet 3 other people. So you have 2 goals in mind. Volunteering, you can meet a lot of people. Zeroing in on a few people you might want to play. I'm just noticing in the picture, there's a man in the back spying on our group. So I don't know, he's a little peeping Tom there. He's got his camera, but he's trying to get on the action. All right, a lot of shaking hands here. But another way to get involved in golf is, let's say you work for a company and you're not really confident going out on a golf course. What you can do is find the golfers in your business and arrange an outing for them. So you might take your customer, have them play with one of your technical people, and set up a beautiful round at a nice course, and then join them afterwards. So you get the credit. Donna Hoffman gets the credit for setting up this beautiful day for your client, your customer, and someone that works in your company. They've played golf, they have a great time, but it's all because of you. You introduced them, you met them, and you set them up to play. So that'll give you some kudos. So remember, this is not about just you, it's about getting exposure for your company and for your brand. Lastly, I'm lucky to live in Washington, D.C. We have a lot of professional tournaments here. So going to an event, now a lot of people go to sporting events, they rent boxes and seats at tickets to football games, basketball games. A professional golf event, to me, is the best spectator sport around, because I'm not locked in a seat where everybody's walking by and I'm sitting there with my food. I get to walk around, I get exercise, I'm out and about, I get to decide what I want to watch. So it's a great way to entertain clients. You know, maybe you work for a company where you can sponsor and have a tent, but just taking people to an event is a great way to network around the golf course without swinging a golf club. Okay, so that's a few ways you can start to let people know you golf and start opening conversations. Next, I want to talk about how to use the golf course to network. Now, as I said at the beginning, most people think that the only way to do this is sit there and play 18 holes. And a lot of people do not want to embarrass themselves, especially if you're a partner at a firm or you're very high up. The last thing you want to do is be facing people with your butt in their face, right? Because they're looking at your backside. You're swinging the club and you completely miss because you're a whiffer. No one wants to do that, right? So there are other ways you can still be on the golf course without playing 18 holes. How do you do that? I'd like to introduce Jody Whitty, and she's going to tell you a little example of how to do that. One of our members, Jody.
Mute myself here. Hello, everyone. Yes, so there are definitely other ways to network with golfers, whether it's through a friend or LinkedIn as well, finding golfers. But we have a member who is a partner at a very large consulting firm in Washington, D.C. And she loves golf. She loves all the networking benefits that it brings to the table. And she had reached out to Donna about golf, and Donna had sent her my way. And immediately we started chatting, and I was trying to help her come up with ideas. And she decided that she wanted to host her very first own personal event, not a work event, but it was her first annual Fairways and Fellowship, which is something that she really believes in. So, very long story short, she reached out to us for help. She invited 12 of her non-golfing C-level friends with two goals in mind. She wanted to help them network and have them she wanted to show them the benefits of networking on the golf course and help them see the fun and the value that it can bring to their career. And then she took it one step further, and she hosted a beautiful 19th hole fun party afterwards. But these people, the 12 people that she invited, that Donna and I helped her put this event together, she put me in touch with all 12 of these C-level individuals. These are people that are with Fortune 10 companies. It was a big deal, and it was probably one of the best networking experiences that I've had that's regarding golf, but didn't take place on the golf course. And so now all these ladies are looking into becoming Women on Course members, wanting to learn more about golf, and hopefully will be out on the golf course doing their own networking and bringing their friends and peers to the table. That's my great networking experience, not on the course.
Okay, thank you, Jody. We have lots of companies that have actually invited clients to a golf clinic where they're learning the game. And some of these women are like, wow, I've never touched a golf club. What a spectacular, memorable day. Because it's a very different day. If you all think back to the first time you went out to a golf course, for some of you, it could be recently. It sticks in your mind, that experience. So you're going to get the credit for that experience. All right, let's talk about actually playing golf, which is the meat of the subject here. I spend all year long trying to educate women on, when are you course ready? When are you ready to show up and play on the course? Because the last thing you want to do is embarrass yourself and have it go the wrong way, where you're not making a good impression and people don't want to invite you back. So we have a lot of resources on our website. We have a course ready quiz. Are you course ready? And here are the questions I'll give you right now. You can think about this yourself. Do you know what pace of play means? Do you know what it means? And do you know how to keep it going? Do you know how to keep a pace of play? Okay, if you don't know what it means, or you don't know how to keep a pace of play, you should not be on a golf course. You should not be on the golf course. Do you know the etiquette? And I'm talking about respecting the other players in your group and respecting the golf course. There are a lot of etiquette rules. You don't go into a high tee and start eating with your mouth open and burping and talking with your mouth full. You just get shooed out. So in a golf course, you could be breaking all sorts of etiquette rules and you have no idea you're doing it. None. So you have to know the etiquette. Both of these things do not count on skill. Again, I'm going to repeat, this is not skill-based. This is knowledge, okay? Now I could add one for everybody, be dressed appropriately. That's another easy one to do. But then let's get down to golf skill. How good do your skills really need to be? All right, there's some question here. My opinion is, if you have a bag of golf clubs and you're on a golf course, do you know which golf club to use for what situation? Do you know what golf clubs you're going to use? If you have to ask people, what should I use? You don't belong on the golf course yet. Okay, I won't go over how to figure this out, but you should know what golf clubs you should be using. And the next one is, when you take a bucket of balls, you have 40 balls in a bucket. Are you making ball contact at least 70% of the time? I don't care where the ball goes, but are you making contact? Okay. If you make contact, You can go out there, because if you play your own way, which is another video that we do, you can just pick up your ball wherever it goes and put it where it should have gone. That's all there is to it. It doesn't matter where it goes. You're not keeping score. You just put it where it should be going, and you're keeping your pace of play, and you're not holding anybody up. The last one is, are you there with a positive attitude? Are you fun? Do people want to be around you? Are you going to be a grump? Are you going to be a complainer? Are you going to be negative? I like to say when we do our Women on Course trips that this is not a drama zone, because no one wants to play with a Debbie Downer. They're there to have fun. They're there to escape the stresses of their life, not have more. Okay, so I'm going to share my PowerPoint again here, my magical PowerPoint. All right, this is where we left off. Well, let's talk about some other business networking tips. Be on time. This is critical. This is your first impression. If you have a 3 o'clock tea time, do not show up at the tea box at 3 o'clock. You are expected to be there 10 minutes before. So being on time in golf is 10 minutes before, not 10 minutes after. They're gone. You're inconveniencing everybody if you show up late. Now, at Women on Course, we do a lot of after work activities, traffic, you're tied up with work. It's an event. If you're late, it's okay if you notify us in the golf course. They're going to leave without you and you'll just join everybody. But technically, you want to try to be on time so you're not disruptive. Okay, who pays? This can be a very tricky situation. When you get invited to play golf, I have a friend that belongs to Congressional Country Club. It's a very exclusive club, and every year she invites me and my husband to play. And I don't want her, I know the guest fees are probably $250 a person. So it's always best to clarify with your host who is paying. Because the last thing you want to do is show up and they go, all right, 250 bucks, and you weren't expecting it. So clarify it. Is this a treat? You know, hey, I'd like to offer to pay. What is the cost? And then they'll tell you it's our treat. So if it's their treat, then you're at least prepared, and you can either reciprocate another time, you can bring them a gift, but at least clarify so you're not in a sticky situation. Many golf courses do not accept cash. The private clubs do not accept cash. The only way to buy anything is through a member's number. So if you're showing up and you're dying of thirst, you're going to have to ask your host, please buy me a drink of water, because they're cashless. So just make sure things are very clear. And to give you an idea of price range, you can do some research. So if you're invited to play and you are paying your own way, you know, people are on limited budgets. You may not want to accept if it's very expensive. Municipal golf courses, government golf courses, they're typically anywhere from $15 to $30 a round. Keep this in mind if you're inviting people and you want them to pay. High-end daily fees, there may be anywhere from, you know, 80 to 200, 250. And like I said, private clubs can be upwards to, you know, $300, $400. So make sure that you know who is paying. Okay, be prepared to play. Now, what do I mean by this? When you go somewhere to your office, don't you know the person that's always borrowing things? Hey, do you got a pen? You got a piece of paper? Hey, do you got this? So when you show up for golf, don't be the borrower. I only have a couple balls and I lost them all in the first hole. Can I borrow some balls? Hey, do you got some sunscreen? So make sure you kind of have everything in your golf bag. So you're the Girl Scout, you're the one prepared to play. And then you don't look like a needy person, okay, mooching off everybody. So you want to have your sunscreen, you want to have your visor, you want to have a jacket if it's going to get cold. You want to have enough golf balls. A dozen golf balls is the recommended, unless you really lose golf balls. Have at least a dozen to play around a golf. Don't show up with one tee and one golf ball. I've seen people do that. All right, dress code. This is very interesting, especially when you're networking and business golf. I see the most well-dressed people showing up. And I'm like, oh, you must be playing for. No, I just bought this yesterday. I've never been to a golf course. So dressing the part is just like the office. The better you look, the more people respect you, and you get instant credibility. So there is a dress code in golf. And again, if you do not know the dress code and you show up not in code, you look unprepared, uneducated, and people are automatically going to associate, I don't want to play with them because they're probably a bad golfer. Okay, they're bad because they don't know these things. They don't have experience. They could be the best hitter, but if you give this perception that you're not prepared, people will not want to play with you. All right, the vices in golf. This is very interesting. I got sucked into this. There's the three vices I like to call cussing, gambling, and drinking. So I play a lot of golf with men who do these three things. And also there's peeing in the woods. I don't do that. But there's a fine line. It's a weekend. They're having fun. How far do you go drinking with them, yelling cuss words with them? I got into a betting situation where I had a couple cocktails. I never drink when I golf because I become a lazy golfer. And they were doing something called the press. Let's press. And I told them, let's press. Yeah, let's press. I had no idea what let's press means. And at the end of the round, I think I had to put in $250 because we lost. I had no idea how they were scoring. So again, it's just like an office Christmas party. You know, Monday morning, you're going to pay for what you did. And sometimes with the guys, it doesn't matter, but know your crowd because they could hold it against you if you're slurring your words and you're getting a little sloppy or you're yelling cuss words. They may think less of you, even though they're doing it. It could come back to haunt you. So know your audience, know how far you want to do. But if you're here to be professional, I definitely see a lot of people at Women on Course events go a little overboard in the drink area. I understand that they are, escaping, but it is a perception you're giving about yourself. Okay, the last tip I want to give you is when you're showing up at a golf course, you want to be memorable. So if you're not going to be remembered for your great drive or your awesome putting or your great swing, you want to be remembered for how you look and how you present yourself. Quick example. I was in a tournament. There were maybe 6 women there. They took my bag, put it on the cart. My bag at the time happened to be brown with white polka dots. And I know that the 3 guys saw my bag there. They hadn't seen me yet. And I could see them rolling. Why did we get stuck with the girl? Oh my gosh, we're going to lose. They were already moaning and groaning. And I overheard them. They didn't see me. And I went, oh, that's my bag. And they were, oh, all smiles. Hi, nice to meet you. So the minute I hit my first drive, they realized we're so glad you're on our team because you get to start forward and you hit it really well. Now, after that, I fall apart. But I was known, the girl with the polka dot bag. Everyone knew me on the whole field, knew me for my bag. So bring something, stand out, show off, be noticed. And that's where I'm going to bring back Sheila because her company will help you do that. So I'm going to stop the share here. And Sheila, tell us, I'm just curious, the name of your company, Birdie Baloo, how did you come up with that name?
So that was just a name that I kind of threw some words together. My husband and I were talking about his favorite movie is Caddyshack. And so, we kind of went down the road. And for those that you haven't seen Caddyshack, look at it. It's pretty funny. But there was the Billy Baroo, which is a golf club from Scotland, apparently. And anyways, we just kind of started rumbling through words and connections, and we ended up with Birdie Baloo. And plus, since we're out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Baloo is a little southern, so it kind of fit right for the brand. So that's how we came up with it.
Okay. And it sounds like, you're a big executive in business. How did you go from that to starting your company? What made you do that?
COVID. I actually, since I used to fly overseas once a month, I was grounded when COVID hit. And so I, at that time, decided, well, I'll just go ahead and retire with all this. And my girlfriends and I started playing golf because, that's what we could all go do and be outside. And how the business came to be was I got very bored during COVID. And one of my girlfriends looked at me. She had been taking a very expensive golf bag, or not golf bag, but a handbag with her to play golf. And she ended up spilling some wine on it and ruined her bag. So she looked at me, unfortunately, and said, not unfortunately, I should say, I said, it was just kind of started the conversation. She said, can't you fix that? Because she had ruined this handbag. So anyways, I just was like, yeah, okay. So thought about it a little bit while, a couple of weeks, and then just made a phone call one day to one of my past vendors and started the business. So that's what happened.
Let's see some of your bags. So bringing a knockout bag will start conversations too. Like,
okay, all right. So one of the things that you're talking about looking good when you're playing. So I'm going to show you this one bag. Let's see. So this bag,
I love that pattern.
it's called, and this is my brand pattern, so you'll always see this in the line. But what this bag is it's about the size of a shoe bag, but it's a great tote bag. And when you, the more you play golf, the more you kind of collect things that you need on the golf course. In this bag, you just kind of, it's a low profile tote, and you just keep it near your clubs. You can throw your shoes in it. You can throw, your water bottle in it. You can, your extra glove, any, sleeves of balls, whatever you need. It's wide open on the inside. And then we also have a key fob. But the thing that's interesting about this bag is it fits right in the back basket. Now you'll say, well, but what if somebody else wants to use the basket? Well, the answer to that is there's a magnet on the inside that closes it, and you just end up putting it on its side. So everything will stay in your bag. So now you still can share the basket on the back of the golf cart. And the best part about this is your 19th hole bag. So now you've got all your stuff, your wallet might be in here and everything else, and you walk in. So all of my bags come in 4 different prints. And let's see if we can get a little closer here.
I love that they have zippers, because I always tell women,
Yes.
if you have valuables like your keys, please do not leave them in something that can fall out. You'll never find
Right.
them.
You'll never find them on the golf course.
Zip them up or put them on the fob. That's a great feature.
Right.
There.
So I've got a couple of larger bags, but they're too big for golf. They're more of a weekend bag, and you can see those online, the big tall leopard, and then the iCat print, and then the geometric red.
Ready?
I'm hoping this is coming up good.
Yeah, it looks great.
And then the other thing is, on top of that, I'm going to show you a little gadget bag. So bear with me 1 second while I get it.
And I didn't check questions here, but well, Jody's putting some things on the chat for a code that you can use. Go ahead.
So what this bag is, this is a gear bag, and many of you may already have a gear bag, but what I did with this is you could hang your towels off of this. So you hang it on your golf bag, and then now there's 2 carabiners, and now you hang your towels. So this kind of frees them away from your golf bag. So in Texas, there's a lot of mud, and if you're using a microfiber type towel, and that's another thing to think about is towels, as you're purchasing things, you need to think of something that's going to stay clean and dry quick, so that the mud just falls off as you go. All of my bags, in this particular one, has some straps on the back of it. So for those of you that have a cart bag, and what you do is you hang this on the bag, and then you take that cart strap. So imagine my hand is the cart strap, and now this is hanging on the bag, secured by the cart strap plus a hook. And what I use this for is I put all my balls and my tees and pencils, my rangefinder, everything in here. So now it's not in my pockets and falling out when I go to sit back down on the cart. So some of us, as we get we put our skirts on and some of those pockets aren't in the right place for us, then it gets all messed up, and you're just dropping things all over the place.
Yeah, I worked with the fashion director at Golf Digest. He says, ladies, there's enough bulges as there is. Don't add more by putting balls in your pocket.
I didn't want to say, but that's my excuse too.
Put them in the pouch.
Sheila, I'm going to tell everybody one other great use for that bag, because I do have one and I swear by this bag. I actually clip it onto my cart, and instead of throwing my credit card and my license and my chapstick, like in a little personal bag on the cart where it heats up all the time, I just keep everything in that bag, and I actually clip that bag onto my golf bag as well. And everything is there in one spot. I don't have to worry about things spilling out and over and all that great stuff. It's a great bag.
Right. Thank you. It's one of those things that, if you're going to take one thing, take one that works for you. Right. Okay. So here's, I'm going to try to show, can you see that, Jody? So I hung up. So just so you guys know, I'm in a golf tournament, and today I'm in actually my hotel show with the showroom set up for you. But so this is a golf cart seat cover, and we have more of them. I'll show you the different picture. I don't know if that kind of makes sense, that I've got it hanging on the wall, but this is another way to kind of stand out in the crowd, is to put a cart cover on your, not only does it look really cute, but the other thing is it's very comfortable. So especially in the summer months, for some of us, if you're wearing skirts, when you get onto those hot golf cart seats, you stick, or you might burn your legs, depending on how hot that vinyl is when you first start. So those cart seat covers are 100% microfiber, and they're just a lot of fun, and they keep you dry. They'll also be good on a misty morning if you're going early and playing, and the golf cart seats are damp in the morning, so that you're not damp the rest of the day while you're playing. So think about something like that. It's a lot of fun. We have several different patterns, but they kind of show your personality, and it's another thing to talk about, and kind of an icebreaker on the golf course. So the other thing we do is you can get things in patterns. So that again is our tropical pattern. We do it in a bright pink, and I carry the different prints and patterns in all the towels also. So you'll see things, you don't have to be matchy, but you can be. And so things start coming across with different patterns and colors. And then if you don't want anything as busy, we go a little softer in royal blue with flamingos on it. And then I also have some palm trees.
They're fun patterns.
They're a lot of fun, and we get very traditional, the stripes and plaids.
And don't you also carry ball markers?
I do, and I'll show you those right now. So ball markers.
And that ladies, on the very first hole, when you pull out, the guys are pulling out their coins or their thing. When you pull out a really fun ball marker,
Yep.
and another way to get noticed that maybe you're putting like crap, but you got there.
But you got there.
It's fun.
So I'm not sure how good you can see these on there. And these are all on our website at birdiebaloo.com. There's 18 different golf cart seat covers, or excuse me, ball markers. And there's some that you'll find that they're just, cute, and they kind of intermingle. But then there's a couple, like this one says girl power, and then I live to putt. And then there's another one that says short game win. And that's a tip that, remember, your short game's important,
Right.
And then we also have umbrellas, for if there's any of you that walk. We also have bright colored umbrellas. There's one in the corner there. So there's lots of ways to enjoy your game, but also look great. And whether you do it through dresses or shoes or socks, and however your personality is when you're buy your apparel for your everyday, think about your product when you're on the golf course, because there's something about feeling good, you play better.
Exactly. But thank you so much. So
Thank you.
Jody, I know you've been posting something. So I know the prices are pretty reasonable. It's, if you pick 3 items, you get 20% off. And there's a code, summer 23. And Jody put the Birdie Baloo website up there for you in chat. We'll email this out after to everybody as well. So thank you, Sheila.
Thank you.
Quick question for everybody. I'm going to wake you up again. Wake up, wake up. Okay. Is it considered bad etiquette to bring up business during the first 9 holes of your round? True or false? Is it considered bad etiquette? Is that an etiquette thingy? Thing? Right. I'm not seeing anybody answering, but maybe I'm not in the right. Oh, here we go. Is it considered bad etiquette? Okay. Actually, there is no correct answer. There is no etiquette rule about before or after. But what I will give you is a few tips about bringing up business. All right. First of all, we all know that golf is a very mental game. Some people are thinking the entire round about club, distance, wind. Other people are just chatting all day and they could care less where their ball goes. So the first thing is to be respectful. I say this over and over again, of your other players. So if they're thinking and they're in their head, you don't want to bombard them with a lot of questions. But it's fair. It's fair to ask someone, if you don't know them, what do you do for a living? Or what do you do? What's your day job? Or when you're not golfing, what do you do? That's a fair leading question to ask at any time. It's not harassing. It's just a fair, interesting conversation. And from there, you can find out what people are all about. If they want to talk about it, then follow their lead. But if they're kind of like, yeah, I do this, but I'm really here, you can tell they're in their golf game, don't bring it up. All right. So wait for them to bring it up. Now, a lot of people know that golf it should take 4.5 hours, right? 4.5, 5 hours. So when you block out your calendar, don't block out 4.5 hours, block out 6 hours, because the best hole is the 19th hole. If you're here to network, make sure you have 30 extra minutes to join them for a drink, a bite to eat. Maybe business will come up there. So again, the same rule, see what people want to talk about. You don't want, okay, now that we finished, okay, you want to do this deal? Keep the conversation going and see if it comes up. That's another chance for it to come up. It may not come up there either. All right, but fortune is going to be in the follow-up. You've obviously discussed something, you've talked about things. Maybe you saw a ball marker and you want to know where they got it, and you follow up, here's the website to Birdie Baloo where I got my cute seat cover. But find something that you discussed during the round that you can follow up with them after, that's not business related, but to keep that conversation going. Maybe you took a group picture and you want to share a picture. Maybe you have a recommendation for a great hairdresser in your area because they just moved here. So you can keep the conversation going and going that way. Maybe you connect with them on LinkedIn after. So remember, networking on the golf course is more about forming a relationship and putting your character out there and being a known person. So maybe the way I started Women on Course, I was just telling my son, I told everybody what I was doing. I'm doing a television show about golf, and my dream job would be to fly around the country and film a show, come back and edit, and just go to golf resorts around the world once a month, come back and film. And I told everybody this. And then about a year later, someone said, you need to meet this guy named Del Wilbur. Well, Del Wilbur basically put me in the event business and the marketing business because he wanted to work with me to start Women on Course as an event platform to bring women into the game. Had nothing to do with the film show, but because I was talking about this thing I wanted to do, someone put 2 and 2 together, and that's how I got started. Okay, so as I said at the beginning, 25 million people play golf. So it's laden with decision makers and heavy hitters, and you could just be paired with the right person. It could happen when you're playing a recreational round with your friend. You get paired up with 2 people. Next thing you know, they're the head of marketing for Capital One, and they need your services. You could do a planned round where you plan an invitation and you go out with people, and you can be networking about golf all through airports, restaurants, wherever you go. I want to ask you a quick question. Have you ever been somewhere and you see men kind of like taking practice swings and talking about golf? Go to an airport. Everybody is talking. They're always talking about golf. I had half a plane talking about golf. When someone saw my PowerPoint, they saw a golf picture on my screen. I don't talk to people on planes. I go, what's that golf thing? And I go, well, I have a golf business. Then people from the front, oh, my brother plays golf. This, and I had half the plane talking about Women on Course in the golf just because someone looked at my screen. So it's very fun. All right, so we're all about time. Speaking of time, I want to respect your time. So we have about 5-10 minutes for anybody that would like to unmute and share a quick tip or story or anything. Anybody out there? One person? Don't be shy. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stop the recording. Let's do that. Let's stop the